I know Lance has got a lot of questions for you. I mean, that you are among up there with Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega. You're right up there in terms of the top talent we've had on this. So Lance, you got some good questions for our guest.
Well, I'm pretty sure Disco wanted to comment on the Kenny Omega Okada match from the Tokyo Dome, the infamous 6-star match. You took exception to I think a comment Cyrus made, and you wanted to address that. So I will allow you to do that.
Yeah, because you made a comment, Cyrus, that. What was the comment that it's a joke? I'm hoping that me commenting on that match would be like Stevie Wonder. What was it? What was the exact?
Well, I think I was pointing out that you giving your opinion on that match or judging that match was like Stevie Wonder judging a beauty contest.
Well, why would you think that though? Now, because I've been a performer, I've been an agent. Mm-hmm. I've helped write television shows. I've helped produce segments. Everything. Why would my opinion be like why would you not consider that my opinion on that match would be something like that?
I think I would say that your opinion would be the same value as a Mark's opinion, but actually the Marks actually have an appreciation for that style of wrestling, and I don't think it's a negative, Glenn. I think it's like back in the day, guys like Bob Brown and Pat O'Connor would have hour-long matches with one bump in the middle, and kind of very much that style. And I think that you come from a very different style, but I mean, walking and talking and all that, you were real good at that. That kind of lazier style. I mean, I just don't think you can look at that and have an appreciation for what you're seeing. You don't take a person who's never had an education and is short-sighted, and you take them to the Louvre and expect that they're going to enjoy the artwork. That's all I'm saying. I mean, it's not a personal comment.
Well, it's still professional wrestling, and I have I'm not a fan. I have not been a fan of Japanese style wrestling, and the quote unquote, and what a term that I just despise is strong style professional wrestling, which to me just kind of it's like an expose of the business in that you're talking about like the style of wrestling that it is. It's not really actually a shoot. It's a style of working strong, which we could argue that'd be a whole another show. But I'm not a fan of that. But I will say this, and maybe you would probably be surprised at this, is I was very impressed with that match because I've not watched a lot of Japanese wrestling over the years. But what I did see that opposed to some of the scene in the past was that those guys sold really, really, really well.
Yep.
And they didn't. And the thing that stood out about that match with me is it wasn't. When I heard it was a 6-star match, I thought it was going to be like one of these where 800 false finishes and kickouts. Like the typical math equation wrestling match these days. Reverse finish kick, reverse finish kick, reverse finish kick. Just one of those. But they didn't do a lot, and they sold the stuff, the big moves like you should. Lot? No, for the time they put in is what I'm saying. When I'm talking about they do a big spot, and there wasn't a lot of big spots for how long was that match? 40 minutes or
47.
For 47 minutes. I mean, you think a 47-minute match these days would have how many high spots would you think would be in it? I like the fact that they didn't do a whole lot of high spots, and they sold the ones that they did and made it seem like they meant something. Which you don't see a lot of that these days, and I think it's from the kind of the way that the Ring of Honor style kind of made its way into professional, where these guys just constantly do a bunch of false finishes, kick out of they raise the bar so that all of a sudden these guys look like superhuman recovery ability they've been kicking out.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Well, I just think that. Well, I agree it was a great match and sold well. I'm just noticing a lot of contradiction in what you're saying. You took exception to Cyrus's comment, and then you pointed out that you're not a fan of Japanese wrestling. You don't watch it that much. Yet you're saying that usually Japanese matches are this. You don't like strong style, but you're saying you don't watch it. It's like someone who might listen to a lot of country music but never listens to rap going, I hate that rap crap. And then you listen to one rap song, go, hey, this was pretty good. It's not like the rest of it. It's like it's having a knowledge and a base and experience in it. And I laugh at the strong style term, too, because, in my opinion, it's a mark term. In a lot of ways, I've worked in Japan a lot. And It's not really. It's almost the work. It's convincing people that we actually work this stronger, more violent style, even though that it's not all that much stronger and violent. And then you get the fans like, oh, they're really hitting each other. It's better. It's like, yeah, because we're working you. And it sounds like perhaps they worked you too.
Well, no. I think here's the thing about my criticism of Japanese wrestling. Okay, is that I'm never. I will never be a fan.
That wrestling you don't watch is this your criticism?
No. Let's make it say. Okay, I've watched it, but I don't watch it regularly. Okay. Like I've seen enough of it. Like I've seen a match here. I've seen a match, over a period of time. I hear about these great matches. I'll watch it. I'm still not impressed. Okay, is what I'm saying. It's just that I don't like the fact that in a fight, two guys will stand in front of each other, trade forearms back and forth, and just where you're letting the guy hit you, and just standing there and do that. Like that to me, when you map out the logic of a match, everything they do that looks good and everything, when you stop and do that in the middle of the match and everybody does that, I've never.
But if you were in a real fight, you use a swinging neck breaker.
No, but this still prefer. But in a real fight, I'd punch somebody. But nobody does that anymore.
But often in
how many tours of Japan did you do, Glenn, in your career?
I did one show in Japan. Okay, for an actual group. I did. I worked Toriyuma. And take a walk against my partners.
Group? What does that mean for an actual group?
Well, me and Henry Hubbard, I would do this. We do army based tours. So we wouldn't work in front. I wrestled.
So you wrestled in Japan, but never in front of Japanese people?
Well, exactly. I worked in the army bases. Okay, but I did work in Toriyuma one time, and it was me and Tokyo Magnum and Latin Lover against
who booked you in a lucha match?
well, no, against those the Italian Connection. Those guys were called back then. This is back in mid 2004 maybe. But back to the point is like I'm never going to be a fan of that the guys just standing there just hitting each other in the head with forearms stuff. And the thing about it is that's kind of integrated its way into professional wrestling because a lot of these guys that we see on TV are kind of much for the Japanese stuff, and you see like guys are getting away from the old school stuff that we grew up on, where guys were punching and kicking, like old Smoky Mountain wrestling. Guys would fight, and I'm not a fan of that.
I would say, and Glenn, you and I may agree on this one point. I think that there's increasingly fewer and fewer people that can throw a proper working punch. And while I have a lot of respect for guys who, and again, it's big show wrestling, so they're going to lay it in. But I think it takes a lot more skill to throw a really skilled working punch than it does to do a lot of the stuff you're talking about.
I'm not going to disagree with that. Like I watched the wrestling today, and it's like throwing a good working punch and selling a good working punch makes a really good match because it looks like guys are fighting.
And it takes years to develop it.
I'm just amazed, and I don't mean to come off like a troll here, Disco, but you're talking about how you want the matches to look more realistic, yet the majority of your career was dancing and fixing your hair. And that's where, again, the Stevie Wonder line comes from. It seems to be that you're judging and commenting on a style that you never did, and you're using your experience in the business as your credibility for your critique. And it just seems odd.
Well, the thing, though, I could do a gimmick. I could do a flamboyant character, but I make it look like to the people that are sitting in the stands that I can actually fight for real because I can throw a punch. And when I'm kicking you, I'm trying to kick you hard. And when guys are hitting me, I'm selling it like I'm getting punched and kicked hard. That's that's what's lost today. Like today is like I watch these guys work. This is what impressed me about the Kenny Omega matches is they sold way better than like even the WWE guys. I did not expect to see them sell as well as they did because they sold like you should sell with where you work when you sell. I watch wrestling these guys today. And like the typical sell is you act like you've been concussed briefly, and you just kind of like lay there. I watched a match a couple weeks ago where Braun Strowman was wrestling Sami Zayn, and just Sami Zayn was doing the sell the whole match like he had been concussed and like been half knocked out. He would just lay there and get up and stuff. He never really showed like pain and agony.
Okay, yeah, but
which
Disco, and I heard you review this or comment on this on your show, and I got so irate I actually stopped the show and called several people to vent. It's like Sami Zayn is one of the best sellers in the business, and I don't know when
I disagree. I'll categorically disagree with you because I'll watch a match with you with him. I've seen him sell before. I'll watch that match with you. And I'll point out what I didn't think, what I thought he was doing.
Okay,
wrong.
I'm going to actually do this. I'm going to throw up a Twitter poll, and I'm curious if fans agree with you. Who is the better seller in the business, Disco Inferno or Sami Zayn? And I'm curious, Disco, have you ever been hit by a man that outweighs you by 200 pounds as a shoot? I'm curious if you perhaps fell down and or looked concussed when a 350-pound man hit you. I'm not sure what kind of selling you're supposed to do.
See a bunch of that.
No, I'm talking about really getting hit by somebody that big. You're saying he's not selling it properly because he's not showing pain. He's selling like he got knocked out. He's getting hit by a 350-pound man.
Here's the thing, and this is what a lot of the guys don't do these days. And it's not just Sami Zayn. It's just collectively most of these guys. Okay, and if I got punched, I would sell the point of impact. I would put my hands up to the point where I got hit to make it look like my God, like what people do when you actually get punched. If you get punched in the face, you reach up and grab your cheek.
Well, I would suggest that if I punched you, you might actually fall down and get knocked out. But
I'm a tough cookie. It would take you more than one to do that. So that's why I sold.
So it might be the second one.
But no, but I'm just saying. I just, bro, we can argue this, and it's all subjective on people's personal opinions and stuff. We argue this, but it's all subjective on people's personal opinions. If you go back and you watch like the late '90s wrestling, you watch a guy like Chris Benoit sell. You watch a guy like Raven sell. You watch a guy like me sell. You watch the way we sell, and watch the way the guys sell.
You're putting yourself in the same category as Chris Benoit and Raven as a worker.
Selling wise, that's why, bro. That's why I got to be on TV for so long. Selling is a skill. And I was one of the better guys at it. My offense was not. I wasn't as athletic. I didn't have a lot of offense. I had a gimmick, and I sold well. Terry Taylor told me one time. He says, I'm more entertained watching you get your ass kicked than the guy kicking your ass. And there's a skill.
That's what agents tell people when they want them to lose every week.
well, I guess I did it well. But I got a good career out of it. But I'm just saying, I absolutely 100%. Right now, if I went on TV at 49 years old, I would sell better than 95% of those guys on the show.
Wow. Well, I'm going to put the Twitter poll up and see if people think you were a better seller than Sami Zayn is currently, because I have a sneaking suspicion you will not fare well in this poll.
Who are you going to poll against? I mean, bro, you're talking about a 20-year gap in work.
I don't care. Most of the fans today were around in the Attitude Era. And this is where, too, you bring up, ask someone who's a better seller, Ricky Steamboat or someone today. People are going to remember Ricky Steamboat because Ricky Steamboat was actually really good at selling. So if fans don't remember you as a good seller, then you didn't do a successful enough job at it.
Well, Ricky Steamboat wasn't a really good seller. Ricky Steamboat was like the best.
Okay,
and that's like next level.
Ricky Morton a long time ago.
They were like the best. You're talking about guys that were the best.
You're talking about you being so great and better than 95% of the people today. If you were better than 95% of the people today, I think people would remember you as a good seller.